Started. Welcome. Today is May 18th for our regular scheduled Board of County Commission zoning hearing. If I could, please everybody stand and rise. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We have staff call the first case, please.
Good morning. Good morning. We have 3 cases before you today. There are 2 plan developments and 1 comp plan amendment. Without further ado, here's Shrum Badamshin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shrum Badamshin from Lee County Zoning. The first case is Center for Hope. This is an approved plan development, mixed-use plan development. They are amending the schedule of uses by adding a use and removing a use, and also changing the square footage of different uses that are allowed within this development. They are reducing retail, commercial, and increasing medical offices. The property is located on Ben Hill, on 6 Mile Cypress, corner of 6 Mile Cypress and Metro Parkway. And there's already some development there. There's a hospice and Alzheimer's cares there. Because of the hospital being close by, Gulf Coast Hospital, there's a big demand for medical offices, and that's the reason they are amending to get more medical offices and less retail. And hearing examiner reviewed this case and recommended approval. There were no participants of record for this case.
Great. Thank you. Would the applicant wish to address the board?
The applicant is hoping the board wants to make a motion and agrees with the hearing examiner and the staff.
Great. Thank you. We have no participants of the record. We'll come back to the board.
I'll move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second it.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? Any objections? No objection. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case.
The second case is DCI 2021-00036, Triox Commerce Park IPD. This is also an existing industrial plan development and surrounded by mostly industrial uses, with the exception of Northwest, which Fiddlesticks subdivision is there, residential subdivision. They are amending the schedule of uses here, and they are changing some of the conditions. With staff reviewed and recommended approval to the board, to the hearing examiner. Hearing examiner recommended approval. There was 1 participant of record for this case.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for staff at this time? Okay. Would the applicant wish to address the board? Okay. The applicant's here if you have any questions. I'd like to recognize Donna Marie and Amanda's here this morning, our hearing examiners. Thank you. I didn't see you at first. You're still a little set back there, so thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, we'll come back to the board. We have 1 participant on record, Thomas Hart.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Tom Hart, here on behalf of the Fiddlesticks community, particularly the Fiddlesticks Country Club, which is the HOA for the community. We support the hearing examiner's recommendation, and we appreciate the staff and the hearing examiner and you guys protecting the Fiddlesticks community as you've done for years with this industrial park. So thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll come back to the board.
I'll move the item.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wayne, a second by Commissioner Hammond. Any other discussion?
No, just happy to see that was worked out. It was a minor tweak. Good.
Yep, good. Any objections? No objection, motion carries. Thank you. Last case.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandon Dunn with the Lee County Planning Section. I'm here to talk about 3640 Southwest Pine Island Road. This is a privately initiated small-scale amendment to our future land use map. As this is a small-scale amendment, this is the adoption hearing. It will not be transmitted to be reviewed by the state. This would be the final action. The request is to amend 1.4 acres located at the southwest quadrant of Pine Island Road and Burnt Store, or Veterans Memorial Park, from rural to the commercial future land use category. Policy 1.1.10 in the future land use, or in the LEAP plan, provides that the commercial future land use category will have no residential allowed, requires a plan development rezoning, and is appropriate for areas in the coastal high hazard area. The request also includes a map amendment to map 4B to allow for connection to the sewer service within the area. On the left, you can see the proposed future land use map amendment. Again, it's the southwest quadrant of Pine Island Road and Veterans Memorial Parkway. It is in the rural future land use category, but contains a mix of zoning and uses, including commercial, public facilities, light industrial, and residential. So it is a mix of uses in there. Across the road to the north is residential, but directly to the northwest is some commercial office. So there is some commercial in the area, and again, this is along Pine Island Road, a major arterial road within Lee County. On the right is the future sewer area map to be amended. Staff does recommend approval of the amendment. The residential density in the coastal high hazard area will be reduced in accordance with Policy 110. The property will be subject to a plan development rezoning process, which helps protect the adjacent environmental sensitive areas. There are adequate public facilities to serve the project. Adding the property to map 4B will eliminate reliance on a septic system, which is consistent with protecting the conservation areas to the west. And proposed amendments are consistent with the LEAP plan and the commercial future land use category. Staff recommends the Board of County Commissioners adopt the proposed amendment.
Great, thank you. Any questions for staff at this time?
You know, the only question I have, real quick, Mr. Chairman, is just if you could go back to the map real quick.
Sure.
So, would it make sense to make all of that light green area commercial? I don't, I guess I'm wondering why does it seem like, you know, I mean, that is the corner of Pine Island and Burnt Store Road, which would be a great commercial corner. When you do these smaller scale map amendments, what, you know, do you take the opportunity to look at what's around there and say, well, man, maybe the rest of this would also be suited to go into the commercial future land use category too?
I don't think it would be a bad idea, except for the reason there is residential dwelling unit. There are some residential uses in there, and those uses would be inconsistent with the commercial future land use category.
Oh, inside of the
Yeah, within
rural.
that area, there are some residential uses. It's a mix of uses.
Okay, all right. Well, then that's a good explanation.
Would that come back to compatibility? Then that's the way that we would look at it, as far as being residential and commercial mixing it together like that?
The property immediately, the larger property immediately kind of to the south and to the east is zoned for commercial uses, so we weren't too concerned with compatibility with the immediate uses. And then, like I said, that there are some public facilities, some a water treatment plant are within that area. So I think the compatibility issue is already there. There is a mix of uses in the area. We support this because it essentially removes the residential density from the coastal high hazard area and requires a plan development rezoning process.
Thank you.
You know, unless we hear anything in public comment that would cause me to ask more questions, I can support this too, Mr. Chairman. I guess the reason for my question, just to explain, was, you know, I think what we'll see in the future here is some of these larger parcels that are currently green and rural right now, they'll just come back in for another future comprehensive plan amendment. And so instead of doing it 15 times, I thought, why not just do it one time and make it what it is?
Well, I was thinking too, so.
The applicant is here as well, if you have any questions for the applicant. I know they did talk to the surrounding property owner at one time to see if they wanted to join them in this, and when it came in, it wasn't included. They may have some additional detail on that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. This time we'll call for public comment. Any public comment? Would the applicant wish to address the board?
Good morning, Fred Drovlik, agent for the applicant, and I can give you a little bit of explanation. I know you said I'm not going to talk my way out of something here, but I am actually representing parcels in an annexation today in the city of Cape Coral that takes care of everything from veterans west to the first small residential parcels.
Oh.
And so that ain't, now it's not approved yet, but we're also in for conventional zoning and for a future land use amendment in the city of Cape Coral for those parcels. So that takes care of some of the concerns. This is a transition area. I understand and agree with what you're saying. So that only leaves really a few parcels that would transition after that. But I think they would likely transition to the same land use or annexation into the city, since this is in the urban reserve overlay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, since you brought up this parcel, are you be looking at future annexation in the Cape Coral with this parcel?
With this parcel, no, that probably was, that could have been an option for the applicant to go that way, but really the extension of utilities for the city there were not in a very good proximity compared, because he wants to operate now, he's already in there now because we're doing a CPD, he already has an office use in there pending the CPD approval. And we're going to have to connect to sewer, and the Lee County Utilities is just right across the road. So it's a directional bore, but it's not too tough of one. So that was part of the decision making. And honestly, it didn't occur to me at the beginning to do that. So
I'm glad you didn't, because I would have talked your way out of this one for me. So thank you, though. Okay, thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Come back to the board.
I'll make a motion for approval, Mr.
We have a
Chairman.
motion, and we have a second by Commissioner Sandelli. Any other discussion? Any objection? No objection, motion carries. And say thank you. Thank you to the hearing examiners for great work today. Appreciate it, all 3 cases. So thank you, and we will adjourn the meeting now.